But enforcement of that rule will technically fall to the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, which has yet to issue an exact requirement. So what would happen to some of those states like Texas when OSHA actually issues these rules? We sent Emma Jerome to get some answers. Emma, what have you learned?
Good morning, Emily. About a dozen states in our country have an executive order that bans vaccine mandates. 9 more have some sort of legislation that bans agencies from requiring proof of vaccination. So what happens when the states and the federal government disagree? Yes, the government is allowed to pass down these mandates, but the states do have a defense of sorts. Tung Yin is a professor of law here at Lewis and Clark College, and he says that what ultimately happens is the states don't have to lift a finger when it comes to these sorts of mandates. The federal government has enumerated powers. Those are powers specifically given to them in the Constitution. Among those powers are the power to regulate commerce, which is where Yin says the vaccine mandate comes from. But he said the defense a state has is ultimately whether or not they'll do anything about it.
The key distinction here is the federal government can issue its rules. It cannot force the states to enforce federal law. What it can expect is that the states will not interfere. If the federal government sent the FBI in to, I don't know, like check up on people's vaccination records, and a state ordered its own police to stand in the way of the FBI, that would be obstructing the federal efforts.
He says Oregon has and does stand up to the federal government. One huge example being when it comes to immigration laws. Oregon is essentially a sanctuary state for these immigration laws. And so in our area, the major counties in our area, would they uphold a vaccine mandate if it were to be passed down by the White House or even Governor Kate Brown? I asked that question, and I will have those answers coming up in the next half hour. Reporting live this morning, Emma Jerome, KOIN 6 News.
Emma, thank you. Well, here in the Pacific Northwest, thousands of nurses in Oregon